There are people in the Senate right now, Republicans and Democrats, talking about a red flag law, which would encourage states to pass laws that allow judges and others, family members, to take away somebody's guns after an adjudication process of some sort. Would you support that? Would you support expanding background checks?
We don't know yet what's coming forward. I can tell you that it'll have to be consistent with the Constitution. Almost all crime is adjudicated at the state level. Murder, theft, assault, they're all state laws. So 99% of crime is in state courts. So really it's under the purview of the state legislature. We already have some emergency protection orders in about 18 states. I think the states need to look at what's on the book and they need to enforce it. The thing we could do at the federal level that we're not doing, and I think this is a federal crime, is that when a felon goes in to buy a gun, 12,000 felons tried to buy a gun with the last statistics, and they were caught and they didn't get a gun, but we didn't prosecute them. It is a felony for a felon to try to buy a gun, and if we know they're trying to buy guns, you know, I think we prosecuted 12 out of 12,000. So there is legislation that's been before the Senate before and will probably come up again that I will support that says by all means we should do this. We also should make the background checks work. At least two of the recent shootings, I think the Dylan Roof shooting and the shooting in the church in Texas, both of them shouldn't have had guns. One was a domestic abuse, another was some other felony, but they didn't get in the system. So I think we can make the current system work better, but the vast majority of these shootings, background checks wouldn't have helped. The vast majority of these mass shootings are purchased legally, but every one of them, I can't get it out of my head that the kids in Parkland were immediately saying, it's so-and-so. They knew his name before they knew he had done it. And this is happening throughout. All these kids are troubled, they're sending off signals, and they are committing crimes. But if you do something like these laws to prevent things in advance, you have to keep the same constitutional burdens that you're innocent until proven guilty. You can't flip it and say to the person, oh, you have to prove that you're not a criminal. No, the government always has to have the burden. There has to be due process. You have to be allowed a lawyer, because the danger is they could just say, oh, anybody that takes antidepressants can't have a gun, or anybody who's ever been to a psychiatrist can't have a gun. And so there is a danger of going too far where we preemptively just are out there taking everyone's guns. And I am alarmed, and it does alarm a lot of us when we hear Beto O'Rourke saying, yeah, they're just going to come and knock the door down and take our guns. That scares the heck out of a lot of Republicans and a lot of gun owners.
Prosecutors dropped the bombshell in open court, telling a federal judge that the 60-year-old airline mechanic had an ISIS video on his phone and had forwarded it to someone else. Prosecutors say Abdul Majid Maruf Ahmed Alani also visited Iraq this year and sent $700 to someone living there. Alani, a mechanic for American Airlines, was arrested earlier this summer, accused of trying to sabotage a plane with 150 people on board. Authorities say they used surveillance video to identify Alani. The pilots were rolling down the runway in Miami when they suddenly aborted takeoff due to faulty readings. Experts say if it hadn't been caught, it could have brought the plane down.
You have to know how fast the plane is going to do a successful takeoff. It's a very dangerous malfunction.
Today, prosecutors said they also found an article about the deadly Lion Air crash in Indonesia last year on Alani's phone. They say it referenced the same type of air data module system he is accused of sabotaging. The federal government said today that Alani had told co-workers his brother was a member of ISIS, and he went to Iraq to see his brother. Prosecutors say Alani's roommate told them he went to Iraq because his brother had been kidnapped. No terror-related charges have been filed. In court documents, prosecutors initially said he confessed to sabotage due to a pay dispute and wanted to get more overtime fixing the flaw he created. But tonight, analysts say investigators may now be looking into whether he was somehow radicalized.
We've also seen these organizations be very creative and innovative, and we've seen more outsourcing. As they themselves cannot mount a 9/11 type operation, they essentially reach out to other people to kind of do things for them.
Terrorist groups from Al-Qaeda to ISIS are known to be fixated on trying to bring down American planes. And the threat of a terrorist getting a job with an airline to pull off an inside job has always been a major security concern. For example, the deadly Metrojet crash in Egypt in 2015, claimed by ISIS, might have been perpetrated by a mechanic, according to Reuters.
They see airport insiders as potentially very helpful recruits in launching these kind of attacks. There's some track record of this.
But terrorism experts also say it's possible that Alani's interest in Iraq and ISIS could have no bearing on the alleged sabotage.
Plenty of people download ISIS videos for all sorts of reasons. This man was from Iraq. Perhaps he was interested in what that group was doing to his country. The question of travel to Iraq, well, plenty of Iraqis in the United States go back to their home country.
American Airlines says the mechanic has been fired. He has not entered a plea in connection to the late July incident, but he is expected to enter a plea later this week. The judge has denied him bail. Now, in court today, Wolf, Alani's lawyer, did say that he never meant to hurt anyone, that he only wanted overtime pay. He said that Alani agreed to the search of his phone and now where that ISIS video was found. And the defense attorney asked if Alani was a terror threat, why wasn't he on a no-fly list? These are all strong points made by the defense today in court. He should enter a plea later this week.
Bachelor in Paradise fans, history was made last night when the first ever same-sex couple got engaged.
Is it Demi? Will you marry me?
Across 44 combined seasons of Bachelor in Paradise and main staples, The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, this is the first same-sex couple to be celebrating that finale milestone. Congratulations to them.
Mr. President?
Yes.
There's a tradition here on the border that anyone who works on the wall signs the wall for us.
Sign it.
Would you do
I'll
that for
sign
us
it.
today?
Let's go.